Oddities. Have you ever pondered about the strangest laws that exist around the world? Well, you're in for an intriguing journey as we reveal the top 10 strangest laws from across the globe. Laws are typically designed to maintain order, to provide a safe, fair, and organized society. But what happens when these laws, in a bid to govern, end up being just downright bizarre? From prohibitions on chewing gum, wearing high heels in certain locations, to a ban on whaling in landlocked states, these laws will leave you scratching your head in bewilderment. Some have historical or cultural significance, while others are simply products of a bygone era that have overstayed their welcome. But one thing's for sure, they're all undeniably peculiar. So buckle up, trivia lovers, law enthusiasts, and curious minds alike. Are you ready to delve into the peculiar world of strange laws? Brace yourselves. Starting our countdown at number 10, we have the ban on chewing gum in Singapore. This might sound a tad strange, but let's delve a little deeper to understand the rationale behind it. The ban on chewing gum was introduced in 1992 as a part of a cleanliness campaign. Singapore, known for its pristine and orderly city, Scape, found that discarded gum was causing a nuisance, sticking to public facilities and even causing malfunctions in subway systems. Talk about a sticky situation. The law was enforced with the aim to maintain cleanliness and order in public places. Now, the ban is not absolute. Therapeutic, dental, or nicotine gum can be bought from pharmacies, but only with a doctor's prescription. So, for all the gum chewers out there, you might want to think twice before packing that pack of gum in your suitcase. Next time you're in Singapore, you might want to skip the gum. Moving on to number 9, we have Greece's ban on high heels in ancient monuments. Yes, you heard it right. If you're planning on taking a trip to the historic sites of Greece, you might want to rethink your footwear. You see, the Greeks have a law in place that bans the wearing of high heels in these ancient monuments. But why such a law? Well, the answer is pretty simple: preservation. These sites, some of which are thousands of years old, are susceptible to damage from the pressure exerted by these stiletto heels. The Greeks believed that every step taken in high heels can cause significant damage to the integrity of these historic sites. So, the law is there to protect and preserve the rich history that these monuments hold. If you're a fan of both history and high fashion, it's a bit of a balancing act. Remember, ladies, flat shoes only when visiting the Parthenon. Number 8 takes us to Oklahoma in the USA, where whaling is illegal. Yes, you heard it right, folks. Whaling, the act of hunting whales, is forbidden in Oklahoma. Now, you might be scratching your head, wondering how this is even possible. After all, Oklahoma is a landlocked state, nestled right in the heart of the United States, hundreds of miles from the nearest ocean. This law is a perfect example of the quirks and curiosities that can be found in legal codes around the world. It seems that the lawmakers in Oklahoma wanted to cover all their bases, making sure that no whales would be harmed within their jurisdiction, regardless of the geographical improbability. So, whether you're an ambitious adventurer or a trivia-loving legal buff, you can add this one to your list of fascinating facts. If you were planning a whaling trip to Oklahoma, you might want to reconsider. For number 7, we fly over to the UK, where it's illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament. Yes, you heard that right. This peculiar law dates back to the early 19th century. At this time, anyone who passed away within the palace was technically entitled to a state funeral. Now, who wouldn't want a royal send-off? However, the law isn't as morbid as it sounds. It's more of a practical measure than anything else. The Houses of Parliament are a bustling place, filled with debates, discussions, and of course, laws in the making. A death in the premises would disrupt this process, and handling the aftermath would be quite a hassle. Plus, the cost of a state funeral isn't something to sneeze at. So, if you ever find yourself feeling a bit peaky while visiting the Houses of Parliament, maybe step outside. After all, you wouldn't want to be the one breaking this odd law, would you? Keep your health in check when visiting the Houses of Parliament. At number 6, in Germany, you're not allowed to run out of gas on the Autobahn. Now, this might seem like a peculiar law, but there's a good reason behind it. The Autobahn in Germany is known for its unrestricted speed limits, and it's a critical artery for transportation across the country. Imagine you're driving at high speed, and suddenly a vehicle ahead of you comes to an abrupt stop. Not because of an accident or a traffic jam, but because they ran out of gas. It's dangerous and can lead to unnecessary disruptions, not to mention the potential accidents that could occur due to sudden braking. So this law was put in place to ensure that the flow of traffic on the Autobahn is not interrupted, keeping the highway safe and efficient for all drivers. So, the next time you find yourself on the Autobahn, remember, it's not just a good idea to keep your tank full, it's the law. Always keep your tank full on the Autobahn. Ice, di no si sapiar. Chakni mat ninorist. Halfway through our list at number 5, we have Italy's law against frowning in Milan. In the fashion capital of the world, it's not just about looking good in your clothes, you also have to wear a smile. Yes, you heard that right. In Milan, it's technically illegal to frown. This law, which dates back to the 16th century, was originally enacted to keep the city's morale high during tough times. The rulers believed that seeing a frowning face could bring down the spirits of the entire community. So, they made it a law that everyone must smile all the time, except during funerals or hospital visits. Over the centuries, the law has stuck around, largely ignored, but never officially repealed. Nowadays, it's more a quirky piece of trivia than an enforced rule. But still, next time you're in Milan, remember to pack your most dazzling smile. After all, you wouldn't want to be caught frowning, would you? Keep your smiles handy in Milan. Number 4 takes us down under to Australia, where echidnas are not allowed on public transport. Yes, you heard it right, no prickly companions on your morning commute. This peculiar law dates back to the early 20th century when Australia was still developing its public transport network. Echidnas, also known as spiny anteaters, are native to Australia and are known for their distinctive spikes. These creatures, while adorable, can be quite a nuisance due to their sharp spines. Imagine getting on a bus or a train, only to find yourself sitting next to a spiky seatmate. The law was enacted to protect passengers from potential injuries and to preserve the comfort and safety of public transport. So, while it may seem odd, it's actually a practical measure. The moral of the story: if you're in Australia and your pet echidna insists on tagging along, maybe opt for a walk instead. Leave your echidna at home when commuting in Australia. Teach me. Our third strangest law is in Chico, California, where detonating a nuclear bomb is illegal. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that a given? Well, yes, it certainly is. But Chico decided to make it explicitly clear by passing a law in 1982. This quirky law was not passed to prevent a global catastrophe, but rather as a symbolic protest against nuclear weapons during the height of the Cold War. The law also states that anyone who detonates a nuclear device within the city limits is liable for a fine of $500. That's right, just $500. It's a tongue-in-cheek law that both highlights the absurdity of nuclear warfare and the small-town charm of Chico. So, if you happen to have a nuclear bomb lying around, don't even think about setting it off in Chico, California. Not only will you cause unimaginable destruction, but you'll also be out $500. Keep your nuclear bombs away from Chico. See us. Almost at the top, at number 2, we have Poland's ban on Winnie the Pooh in public places. Yes, you heard it right. The lovable, honey-obsessed bear from our childhood is not welcome in the public sphere of Poland. This peculiar law originated in the small town of Tuzin, where officials were selecting a mascot for a local playground. Winnie the Pooh, however, was rejected due to his lack of pants and dubious sexuality. The council deemed him inappropriate for children, sparking a nationwide ban in public places. The discussion was ignited when one official questioned Pooh's attire or lack thereof, leading to a somewhat heated debate about the bear's modesty or the absence of it. While this might seem amusing or even bewildering to some, it is a law that is taken quite seriously in Poland. So, if you happen to be in Poland, remember to keep your Winnie the Pooh merchandise well hidden. In Poland, keep Winnie the Pooh at home. And finally, at number 1, we have France's law against elephants on beaches. Yes, you heard it right, elephants. This quirky law has a fascinating backstory. It was implemented in the early 20th century when traveling circuses were popular. These circuses would often bring their elephants to the beach for a bit of exercise and relaxation, much to the amusement of locals and tourists. However, the enormous footprints left behind by these gentle giants were causing havoc for beachgoers and posing a safety risk for children. To tackle this, the French government stepped in and passed a law prohibiting elephants on beaches, making it safer for everyone. So, while it may seem bizarre today, it made perfect sense back then. Over the years, this law has become more of a humorous anecdote, but it still remains in the books. So remember, if you're planning a beach day in France, leave your elephant at home. And that, my friends, concludes our countdown of the top 10 strangest laws from around the world. We've journeyed from Singapore, where chewing gum can land you in hot water, to Greece, where high heels are a no-go in ancient monuments. We've explored the peculiar prohibition of whaling in landlocked Oklahoma, USA, and the oddity of it being illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament in the UK. We've refueled in Germany, where running out of gas on the Autobahn is a big no-no, and smiled our way through Milan, Italy, where frowning is forbidden. We've hopped over to Australia, where Echidnas are banned from public transport, and jetted to Chico, California, USA, where nuclear bombs are a no-go. We've visited Poland, where Winnie the Pooh in public places is a faux pas, and finally, we've strolled on the beaches of France, where elephants are strictly not allowed. Until next time, stay curious and stay law-abiding, even if the laws are a bit strange.